Hello and welcome to the Big Story segment here on the BDTV Breakfast Show. This is where we discuss key issues shaping the nation and our economy. My name is Elizabeth Musa, and today our focus is on the digital gap in Nigeria's education system. We're exploring the current state of the country's educational system, the transformative role of technology and solutions to bridge the digital gap, and steps policymakers can take to effect meaningful changes. Now, for decades, Nigeria's educational system has struggled to adapt to the evolving demands of a globalized world. While progress has been made, the system's ability to produce graduates equipped with the skills necessary for the 21st century remains inadequate. And to understand this better, we are being joined by Douglas Kendyson. Douglas is the founder and CEO of Seller. It's an online store builder that helps people monetize their knowledge or their skills via digital products like ebooks, courses, and services. Douglas has had a lot of experience working at billion-dollar payment startups, including Flutterwave and Paystack, and he's been running Seller for the past 5 years. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, Douglas.
Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you very much. I'm really glad to be here.
Lovely. Very welcome. Welcome to you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Except the traffic I faced this morning, I'm fine.
Yeah, traffic is a way of life in Lagos, so it's expected. So, Douglas, just to the conversation for today, help us to understand how steep the digital gap in Nigeria's educational system is.
Interestingly, when I think of just how steep it is, if you want to see how steep it is, I think you should go to like the NYSC camp. Like that is just. It's a very interesting like mix of people where you see just how much I guess Nigeria has failed a lot of people. You have people there that don't have any digital skills, barely even have reading and writing skills actually, but they have certificates. And you are shocked, and it is very sad, it is very sad to see in that space, because you would think that at the university graduate level or HND or whatever it is, like there'll be more, but there's none. And I think it is very important that we start putting systems in place that just help produce more efficient and smart graduates.
Yeah, and speaking of that, what do you think it is that we are doing so badly that the rest of the world is doing better at and is making them move much faster than we are?
Interestingly, I would say it's a mix of multiple things.
Right.
I mean, some of things are in our control, some of things are not in our control. But I think you think of like infrastructure, you think of digital adoption in like schools. It's weird because like I think there is like most schools, even from like the primary and secondary, they have like a computer class, but you still have so many people that leave without any computer knowledge. I graduated in 2016. Yes, that ages me. But like I graduated in 2016, and even at that time, and even till today, I think my sister is currently studying medicine she's currently studying medicine in a government school, and I don't think they do a lot of like they do a lot with computers in their like curriculum and everything. I just like submitting assignments, and those things are very essential. So I'm not just even talking. So I'm not talking about like, oh, you're taking a computer class. It's not a computer class. You're doing things that you like, maybe submitting assignments, maybe writing tests, writing all these things. They're very essential because people need to get familiar with this as a way of life. Else, they're not going to pick it up. Like most people that pick up like digital skills or computer skills or however they are, they usually pick it up when it's like they have to now use this in their everyday life. Let's say like a job or something like that. And I think in a lot of ways, the education system has failed us, whether it's like in older curriculums, whether it's in like outdated curriculums, whether it's in things that are not on par with just like, I mean, a lot of us are thinking about like, a lot of people are doing AI now, and then it's like, people are not even, we're not even close to some of these things. And I think that's something that I'm hoping over time we could get right at the end of the day. Yeah.
Right, and the focus here is not to apportion any blame, but to find a fast solution. So if I may ask you, are there specific groups or organizations whose failings have contributed to our poor showing, how we poorly show up in the global digital space, or is it inherent in the system? And I'm asking because you're someone that, as I would say, if I say so myself, you've mastered, when it comes to selling the digital products and all of that. So what's one thing that you would say is contributing to some of the failings that we have in the system?
So let's try to share the blame with everybody actually. So everybody should take a hit. So I think it's a very systemic thing. So whether it's the education system, and just how they have chosen to not enforce like but the thing is, I don't even blame them, because if you say that everybody should like enforce like a computerized thing, a lot of schools might not be able to afford it. So that's very tricky. So maybe I apportion them the blame, and then I am mindful of that too. We're also talking about like government policies too. Like, so recently there was a network that got a lot of flack. I'm not going to say their name, but there's a network that got a lot of flack for like raising their internet prices. People don't realize just how much, and I mean, a lot of people, when people think internet, they think like YouTube, they think TikTok, but internet plays a very big role in just people's accessibility of anything. If there was going to be like a school system where people could like watch stuff online, do things online, that will have to start with like having access to the internet. So the school I went to, I think by the time I graduated, so I went to Covenant, but by the time I graduated, we weren't really submitting assignments, but I think they had us doing like a lot of stuff on computers. Like we were taking we're doing a bunch of things. Like it was very, like you needed a computer to survive actually, because like a lot of, I guess, assignments and all those things. Maybe the portal itself wasn't the most, but like very computer. But that's not the same for like a lot of other people across board. And I think, so even the schools would play a part, the government will play a part. I guess the private sector too will play their part. But that also needs money. So yeah, everything just boils down to everybody taking responsibility. I don't know if I don't know if that helps, or I was too.
Basically, what you've done is just apportion the blame to everybody, and that's okay. Public, private sector, schools, everyone, that's okay. So why should Nigeria begin the resetting if it's to catch up with the rest of the world?
Oh,
that's a deep question here.
It is. It is, because like we could be philosophical about it and be like, oh, it should start from the house, because the truth of the matter is, most of the people that have good options and have opportunities, some of them, not everybody, of course, a lot of people just fought their way tooth and nail to get to where they are. Some other people, it's just a function of like your parents actually just at least being aware of what is good for you and making that available for you.
And do you think it's also something to do with coming from a privileged background?
Obviously, that plays a very big role. So a privileged background is one. How much information your parents have is one. But if we kind of just zoom out of that and let's just say, okay, let's take it out of the family unit, because that is too micro. We should definitely start with the schools. Schools are obviously the next best thing. Schools have to have better curriculums that are more in line with like global standards. You can't have people that are graduating from school and they can't type. Like people in like primary school are like typing fast in like the Western world. So it starts from there. The primary school, so we don't even have to wait till university anymore. And again, it is a luxury because not everybody can afford to get a computer, blah, blah, blah. But if we're going to start somewhere, we'll start from there. The schools, and just better opportunities, I guess, from better infrastructure. We talk about like electricity a lot. Like you can't do any computer thing without power.
Yeah, so the infrastructure definitely needs to be a lot better.
Yes.
And electricity certainly plays a part.
Electricity, internet,
every time we're talking
all
about
the
infrastructure, energy.
And I mean, all these things are, and I guess the point of this is, a lot of things are so foundational, that a lot of problems are so foundational that like, you could start fixing from the top, but when even the very basic things are not done, it affects how that solution actually, how effective that solution is at the end of the day, I think. But nonetheless, I think there are all these other cosmetic things that we can do.
Cosmetic things.
Which we should not be doing actually. We should be doing real. We should be solving real problems for people.
Right. What? Mind if I ask? What are these cosmetic things? No, no, go ahead. No, like it's
no,
it's
like
a free for all right now.
I mean, it's like I don't know. Like when I think of literacy literacy programs, they're not cosmetic. I think they're really nice, but you know, let's just skip this. Let's skip this because like I feel like I really want to be nice to it because a lot of people have nothing is really cosmetic. A lot of people set up like initiatives and programs at the end of the day that they really want to be impactful. However, like a lot of other things affect them, and I think that's okay. Sorry, let's be nice.
Or not. It might be okay or not okay. But some individuals have called on the universities and the National University Commission to discontinue courses that have been rendered useless by artificial intelligence. Do you actually share the same sentiment?
That's a very, very tricky point. It's a very tricky point because I would say, so I'll give you an example. I'm a software engineer. There is AI that can write software now. So again, it really depends. Like I said, it really depends. I think maybe we could have some examples and maybe that would give, and then we could dissect those. But like, someone can say that like, oh, we should not be doing some kind of things because like AI can solve them. But AI, at the end of the day, needs a human to tell it what to do. And in many cases, the human needs to have a good, rounded idea of something to produce great results out of the AI. However, I think that sentiment is probably for maybe like very trite or trivial like things that are just completely outdated and nobody should be wasting time on. And I guess that's very different. I think instead of cutting, there are a lot of things that we do in this Nigerian like education system that are really just not that useful indeed. Whether AI or not can do them, and some things are like nobody's using anymore, but like we're still just hammering on it. We're still doing, like, I mean, I don't know if they still do shorthand, but like I feel like I did shorthand in my secondary school, and that was ridiculous because it's nice and it probably has its benefits, but like, where am I going to use that? Who's still using that anymore? But yeah, but those are many things.
Just completely a different question. So we're talking about bridging the digital gap and all of that. Oftentimes people talk about certain jobs that will be wiped away by artificial intelligence. You know, just coming from your own school of thought and also like your demographic, do you think that there are jobs that could be wiped away, like in the next 1 to, let's say 5 years, we'll be saying bye, we're not even going to know of such jobs? Do you think there are any of such jobs?
I think there are a lot, unfortunately. There are a lot. But it doesn't mean, but I don't think that should give a lot of people fear. The thing is, there's so many things that people were doing manually before computers came in and before household computers came in and then disrupted the world, or internet came and disrupted the world. But people had to adapt. It doesn't mean that everybody lost their job. People just found more innovative ways to do this. So I'll give you an example. I know a podcast company that they used to like have maybe someone or do it manually for hours, maybe transcribe the whole thing, and it would take hours. And now they said they can just do that with AI very easily and like get the whole thing. And yes, maybe that person that was doing that very tedious job week on week is probably not going to have that job anymore. But there are more things they can switch gears to. I don't know if that helps. And this is just how adapting as a human being comes in. You have to adapt to the life that we're getting into. If AI is what's coming, we can't like be like, oh my God, this is bad. It's more, this is where we are. We're gonna have to figure out like what we're all going to do moving forward and get that done. So
I have to really give a shout out to you and commendation to you. You're running a platform that has helped people to, you know, put their knowledge out there in ways that they might have not known they could have put it out there, because a lot of people are writing books, creating digital product, but usually, if not for a platform like Seller, like this is like a free ad.
Thank you, and I appreciate the promo. Thank you.
You'd find it. You find out you could sell your product on platforms like yours. in your opinion, and over the years, what kind of products, when it comes to digital product, what kind of books do you think people usually look out for, or the ones that you think really get
Sales.
more sales? I mean,
So
is it
interestingly, I have
self-help or what?
I have an answer for this.
Cool.
Any content that has to do with how to make money sells the most.
You're giving me an idea. Cool.
No, you should use it. And a lot of I mean, I guess Nigeria is Nigeria, and we are the way we are, and actually everybody's looking for money. Um, so you should give us like a course on like just presenting. Because that could help a lot of people find jobs. That could help a lot of people. You speak so eloquently on your show. People definitely want that for whether it's like private events, whether it's for like their own social media, whether it's for different things. There's so many reasons. There's so many people that probably want to speak like you. So don't slack. Give us something.
Interesting. All right. Thank you so much. So basically, how to make money and all of that, people
Those
always
ones
look out
always
for us.
sell.
So yeah.
Those ones always sell.
Thank you. That's one way to bridge the digital gap, and you told us today. But thank you very much, Douglas, for sharing your thoughts with us on the big story today on Business Day. It was really a delight speaking with you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is really lovely.
We hope to have you once again. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thanks.
And that's how we bring it to wraps here on the big story segment. My name is Elizabeth Musa. Keep watching BDTV.